Hi, my name is Allison Howard. Today's yoga class is going to be a Hatha yoga sequence, and it's based in the sensory experience of smell. This class comes from a series I'm doing on different sensory experiences, and today we're focusing on smell. And so, while we focus on smell, I'm going to be making use of an essential oil for me to smell, to apply to my palms as I am practicing. And I would invite you to check out, to try to grab some if you have them. If you don't have essential oils, you can grab a lotion or a perfume that smells nice to you. I don't attribute any particular healing properties to the use of essential oils. However, I do know that there is a strong link between the sensation of smell and emotion and memory. Today we're going to be exploring these associations between memory and smell and the really highly personal nature that your experience has. It's true of your memories, of your past experiences. It's also true of your yoga practice. So some yoga practices, some smells, some memories may be really comforting and soft and really inviting for some people and jarring and unpleasant for others. This yoga practice is an invitation to explore that for yourself, to see how you feel in different poses, how different smells might evoke different memories or associations. And so we'll just try it on. For the practice, you might like to have a couple of blocks. You can use these cork blocks, or you can grab some foam blocks, or if you don't have blocks at home, you can just grab a couple of heavy books, and that should be just fine. So grab your mat, get whatever scent you think you might like to work with, and let's get started. All right, so we will begin by taking one of the essential oils or perfumes or lotions that you have decided you want to work with today. You have lots of options. Even if you don't have a perfume or a lotion that you think is an appropriate smell for you, you could just peel an orange, right? So I'm not advocating for any particular essential oil or scent. As I said before, scent is extremely personal, and I'm not advocating for any particular health benefits of essential oils, but I do believe in the cognitive power of smell. So I'm going to make a choice here. You can make your own. I'm going with a little bit of lavender, and I'm going to put it a couple drops into my palms and just give it a little rub. So already as you begin to rub your scent into your palms, the smell starts to fill the air. From here, I'd like you to take your hands up to the temples and give them a little massage. Make small circles with your first finger and middle finger right here on the temple, and then switch direction of your circles. If you bring your hands down to the neck and distribute that scent anywhere that you'd like to have it during your practice. This smell will infuse what we do today. So make a choice for something that is nice for you, it's pleasant. And from here, bring your hands down to the tops of your thighs. Lift up through the crown of your head. Allow your eyes to fall shut. And begin to inhale and exhale gently. Noticing how the aroma that you chose might fill the air, or it might already be a lingering whisper. not as prominent as it was a moment ago. Take a long inhale into belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, release. Swing your legs around and bring your hips over your heels. Sit back into child's pose. Notice the temperature of air on the tip of your nose, as well as any scent from the room around you, from the smell that you chose. And with curiosity, begin to explore any associations you might have with the scent. A memory, the thought of a place or a particular time of life. If it's comfortable, I invite you to investigate the content of that memory. What other sights or sounds or sensations associate with that moment, that place in your life history? Take a long, slow inhale. And a deep exhale. Press yourself up to hands and knees, tabletop. Ground your wrists into the mat. Really notice your fingers here in front of the face. Tuck your toes for even more grounding. Shine the eyes of the elbows toward the top edge of the mat. Notice yourself here in this moment. All the sensation, all the senses of the body radiating here. Take an inhale, drop the belly down, lift the collarbones, expand the space between the left and right shoulder. Lift the chin, lift the gaze, lift the hips. Exhale, round the spine. Begin with the hips, dropping the pelvis, rounding through the shoulder blades. Crown of the head lowers. In this pose, I smell the oil really strongly from where I placed it on the neck. Drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale around the spine. Feel and notice the movement of the spine here. Each vertebra elongating, separating, compressing as we move back and forth through these two shapes. And finally, come to a neutral tabletop. With toes tucked under, walk your hands forward about a handprint. Fingertips shine toward the short edge of the mat. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale a long, smooth breath in. And exhale a complete round breath out. You're welcome to bring movement into your downward facing dog. Bend generously into one knee and then the other. Take a look in between your hands and bring your right knee in toward your chest, and finally place the right heel down in between your hands. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Keep your left toes tucked under. Bring your hands to the top of your right foot. Walk the hands up your thigh and come up to Anjaneyasana. Take an inhale, sweep the arms around and in front of you. Here, it might be nice to have your blocks handy. Reach down and grab them, place them down outside of the right thigh on either side. Straighten into your right leg. Lift the right toes up toward the face for half Hanumanasana. Your pelvis sits over your left knee. And if you need to invite a gentle bend to the right knee, that's just fine. Take an inhale, lift the back of the heart space just a bit. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bring the right toes back down onto the mat. Step your hands, and you might bring your blocks with you, back forward outside of the right foot. Inhale, come up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands down to the blocks, step them back. Half Hanumanasana again, right toes reach toward the face. Exhale, fold toward your extended right leg. Come back up, right toes down, blocks come forward, arms reach up, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, hands come down on either side of the right foot, right knee back beside the left. Swing your hips left to right. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale long and slow. And exhale completely. Hug the left knee in toward the torso. And place the left heel down in between both hands. Lower your right knee down to the mat. And inhale, come up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands down to find the blocks. Bring them back outside of your hips or your left thigh. Shine the left toes up toward the ceiling. Come up halfway, and then fold into yourself. Chest coming toward left thigh, any amount. You're welcome to invite a bend into the left knee if that's more comfortable. Left toes find the mat again. Step your hands forward and come up. Untitled. Exhale, hands come down. Step the blocks back. Lift the left toes to the sky. And fold the left chest toward the left thigh. Inhale up, left toes down, blocks forward, arms reach. And exhale, hands come down, move the blocks out of the way, return to tabletop, swish your hips left and right. Come up to stand at the top of your mat. Heels underneath the hips. Ground down into the mat beneath you. Notice all the points of contact between your feet and the floor. Reach the arms around, out, and up overhead. Clasp the outside of the left wrist with your pointer finger and thumb. And reach the left hand toward your right. Come back up through center. Bring your left pointer and your right thumb around the outside of your right wrist and bend toward your left. Low ribs hug in, tailbone lengthens down. Come all the way back up through center. And we'll take that one more time on each side. Side bend over. Come up through center. And side bend the opposite direction. Come up through center. Nice. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Step your feet out wide so that the heels sit underneath your wrists. Arms extend alongside. Turn your right toes toward the top edge of your mat. Turn your left toes in slightly. Bring your right fingertips forward in space. And then down to your shin, to a block, maybe to the ground. Your left hand can extend up toward the ceiling, or you might invite the left fingertips behind the left ear. Take a deep inhale here, and exhale. Spiral your right inner thigh toward the outer right edge of the mat. Inhale, left fingertips up. Exhale, release both hands down to the mat in front of you. Angle the toes in toward one another at about 30-degree angles. Your hands can be on a block or 2 blocks, or they can be on the ground. Take an inhale, lift the spine up a little halfway, and exhale, fold forward. Fingertips can walk back in between the feet, in line with the toes.
Allow the crown of the head to hang. The bowl of the pelvis spills forward in space. Ground down through the outer edges of both feet. Take a long inhale and exhale. Hands come back to the center and walk yourself back up to stand. If you'd like to turn around, you can. You can stay facing the screen. Turn your left toes out toward the short edge of the mat now. Your right toes in, angle in slightly. Arms come out alongside. Bring your left wrist forward in space. And then hinge at the hips, bringing the arms to a nice wide open T. You might bring the left hand to a block. Your right hand can stay where it is, shining toward the ceiling, or your right fingertips might graze the area behind the right ear. Take a long inhale. Spiral the inner left thigh toward the outer edge of the mat. Inhale, right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, both hands come down. Turn all 10 toes toward the long edge of your mat. Angle toes in slightly. Hands underneath the face. Take an inhale to lift halfway. And exhale to fold in. Hands can walk back in line with toe tips. Sitting bones shine toward the ceiling. Head and chest hang heavy toward the floor. Inhale here, walk your hands forward, and come all the way back up to stand. Turn to face the top of your mat. Ground down into both feet. Really grip the mat with all of the edges of both feet. And then begin to lighten the weight in your right foot. Come onto your right toes. Externally rotate your right thigh. And inhale, bring the foot up to place it somewhere on the left inner thigh, the left leg that might feel comfortable. Balance can be a challenge no matter how many yoga practices you have been doing. So just allow your balance to be what it is today. Bring your hands in toward heart center. And then find a placement for your hands that feels sustainable and nice for you today. You might bring the thumbs up to the place in between your eyebrows and deeply inhale the scent you applied to your palms. You might shine your hands up in a nice wide V. Take an inhale and exhale, release. Shake it out and switch to the other side. Firmly grip the mat with both feet, grounding down that bottom surface of the body into the floor. And then begin to lighten the weight in the left foot. Come onto left toes, externally rotate, and then find the placement for your left foot on the inside of the right leg that you like. Again, find your placement of hands. Allow wobbles and falls. Take a deep inhale. If hands are close to face, notice the scent you've applied as you deeply breathe in and out. Release that and shake it out. Nice. Step feet wide. Again, turn your right toes toward the short edge of the mat. Angle your left toes in slightly. Bend deeply into the right knee. Extend arms wide. Turn your gaze over your right middle finger. Tailbone lengthens down. Hug your arm bones into their sockets and feel the engagement on the back side of the body as your shoulder blades come in toward one another. Take an inhale. Exhale, pivot on your back toes. Bring your hands down outside of the right foot. Lighten the weight in your left toes and lift your left heel to the sky, standing L. Strongly engage the outer hips. Tuck left toes in toward your face. You might like to bring one hand behind your right calf. Inhale here. And exhale, slowly with intention, lower your left toes down to the mat and come all the way back up. Pivot toward the long edge of the mat. Again, left toes pivot towards the short edge of the mat. Right toes shine in slightly. Bend into your left knee and extend arms out alongside. Gaze out over your left middle finger. And then plug your arm bones back into their sockets. Feel the shoulder blades as they come closer toward one another on the back side of the body. Inhale here. Tailbone lengthens down. Inner left thigh spirals around toward the outer left thigh. Pivot towards the short edge of your mat. Come up onto the toe mound of your right foot. Hands come down to frame off the left foot. Take an inhale, lighten the weight in the right foot, and pop the right heel up, standing L. Shine the right toes forward toward the face. Lift the right heel. Inhale. And exhale, slowly, with intention, lower right toes back down to the mat, and inhale, come all the way back up to stand. Turn and face the top of your mat. Heels underneath the hips. Take an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Bend into your knees, and as you bend, sink weight into the heels. Lengthen through the low back as your hips sink lower. Even here, as arms shine up, can you broaden through the front side of the heart space? Perhaps you'd like to invite a nice wide V into the arms, or bend the arms at the elbows and feel the opening through the front side of the body. Inhale here and exhale to stand. Come all the way down to the mat. Lie down onto your back. Knees shine toward the rafters. Swing hips, knees left to right as we prepare for bridge pose. Here, walk your shoulder blades close toward one another underneath the back, opening through the front side of the body. Hands come down and walk in toward your hips. Grip the mat with your toes. And on your inhale, lift your hips up to the sky. Walk your hands closer in toward one another. Walk your shoulder blades even further onto the back. And shine your hip points up and to the sky. Lift. Strongly engage the glutes to press the hips higher. And on your exhale, lower all the way down. Again, hips swish, knees swish, left and right. Hug knees to your chest. Rock and roll on the back body all the way up to a seat. Extend your right leg out long and bring the sole of your left foot into your inner right thigh. Pivot toward your extended right leg so that you bring your solar plexus toward this extended leg. Take an inhale to lift the chest. Stay here. And on your next inhale, invite arms to lift and fold forward on the exhale. Inhale, the back rises up. Switch the legs, extend your left leg out long, bring your right sole of your foot to the inner left thigh. Pivot the torso toward your extended left leg, solar plexus coming toward this extended leg. On your inhale, lift the chest up and stay here. And on your next inhale, lift both arms overhead and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, the back lifts you back up. And extend both legs out long. I invite you to lower yourself all the way down to the mat. You can gently close your eyes, shine palms of the hands toward the ceiling, or bring hands onto the chest. If you'd like to bring hands over the face and take a deep inhale, breathing in the scent you chose, and exhaling. The sense of smell is a unique one. It's highly personal. It's closely tied to memory. It's highly valenced. It can be jarring. I'd like to read a quote from a book called On Looking by Alexandra Horowitz. We can come up with a vivid description of how a place we visited looked, but how it smelled? We are left with vague comparisons, like a summer's day, that are evocative but not specific. Names that tell us nothing about the quality of the scent, the smell of garlic or fresh bread, or superficial quality words, foul, lovely, delicious, spicy. What smells are very good at is beckoning memories forth. Smell, like memory, is entirely personal. It cannot be shared with the ease that an image rendered in ink or oils can be experienced by hundreds or millions. So too, your yoga practice is highly specific, and it is your own. As you're ready, roll over to one side and press yourself up to a seat. I'd like to thank you so much for being a part of this sensory experience practice with me, this smell Hatha practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.